All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the scene with one of my favorite people, board of advisor member, founding board of advisor member, and this is the opening release. This is not even show 1, this is show 0. This is almost a behind the scenes birth of Mic Drop, and where we are showcasing Rockstar Entrepreneurs, the interviews of their life, their business, their mindset, and the absolute grit of what it takes to get it done. An entrepreneur at its core is a creator. Would you agree, Mr. RJ Palano?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where the crowd goes wild. Mr. RJ Palano, seasoned investor, world-renowned businessman, and author. You're an emerging author. You're on your second book? Are you going into the second book? Or
Third book.
Third book.
Let's just say I'm emerging, Mike.
He's emerging with...
Evolving.
Yes,
Evolving, if you will.
Ladies and gentlemen, give him a nice, warm welcome. So, first question for you. Where and at what point did you decide that having a job sucked and you wanted to earn and develop and create your own future?
That is a great question. I was a soda jerk. I was about 14 years old.
What kind of jerk?
Well, now I'm just a jerk.
Because I've heard stories.
No, I was a soda jerk. I used to make ice cream cones and sodas up in New York.
Right.
And I worked, I wasn't even in high school yet, I don't think. But I realized at that time I could only make as much money as they were willing to pay me per hour, and it wasn't very much. And I realized back then that I wanted to be rewarded in direct proportion to my knowledge and my ability to take action. So I knew back then that I could never work for somebody else.
Right, right.
That was the earliest. That scenario played out more than one time in my life.
I was going to say, I was just thinking as you were speaking that the absolute confirmation, like that point where I said, I am not looking back, period, is when, and not that I wanted to ever be divorced, but I became divorced, and they took out all the state taxes and all the Fed taxes and the child support, and then they're like, I didn't even know what that number, what you used that leftover number for. I was like, okay, time for me to kind of take this into my own hands, right? But sometimes it's just not cut out for everybody. To be an entrepreneur is not for everyone, regardless of how bad they want it.
Well, there's a fine line, Mike, between entrepreneur and entrepreneur. And, you know, when entrepreneurs like yourself, myself, and so many people in board of advisors, when they do things, there's no net. There's no net to catch them when they fall. An entrepreneur, when they fall, they hit hard, they crash, they learn, and they reinvent themselves. It's constant evolution.
Very true.
And so, you know, some people need a job. They need to be accountable to somebody. I need to show up at this time, I get to go home at this time, then I get to do what I want with my time. That was never my life.
They find comfort in the routine and the ability to check out in the evening. Guys like you don't check out. You check in, period. 3:30 in the morning, I'm getting a text. Hey, are you up? Hey, slacker. Like, you're intense. You're on all the time. When you're sleeping, you're still on. You're just faking it. You're laying there with your eyes shut.
Well, that's the case of many of the people that are in your organization. You see, the only people that retire is that guy that's got a job.
Right.
Because at some point he gets tired of checking in. He gets tired of having to go to work every day, being told what to do.
Yeah,
Guys
true.
like us, we don't stop. Why? Because we love what we do. You know, we love what we do, and we need that sense of accomplishment, the purpose. There's got to be a reason to get out of bed every morning.
Yeah, we kind of become addicted to that sense of accomplishment.
It's dopamine.
Well, also the sensation of creation, right? I mean, you know as well as I do, and everybody can kind of, all the males can probably relate to the fact, you know, your wife or your girlfriend has a problem. What do we want to do as a male? We want to throw our cape on and fix it. We want to create a solution, right? As an entrepreneur, I was looking this morning at the definition, and an entrepreneur who is someone who takes risk to create a benefit or solution for someone else.
Absolutely.
Now, think about this. People many times step into an organization like ours and they're just pitching things and services. But if you notice, those are the ones that aren't thriving. They're barely surviving. The ones that come in and they're truly creating solutions and something that benefits someone else in general are the ones that are truly, like your solution in real estate is extremely beneficial for you and anyone else that wants to get involved, right? So talk to me about what you think is different between a wannapreneur and an entrepreneur.
Well, you know, I was reading this recently. There's a big difference between confidence and delusion. There's a big difference between confidence and delusion. That's a wannapreneur, okay? Delusions. I think I am this. I'm going to act like I am this. We've seen guys come through your door and exit your door that were wannapreneurs, right? They acted it, they talked it, but they couldn't walk it.
Right.
The entrepreneur is out there in the field,
Right.
in the streets, getting his hands dirty every day. And every day it's a different day, washes himself off and starts it all over again the next day. But there's one thing to assume the clothes, but
True.
you actually have to do the walk.
You gotta have the ability to deliver.
No question about it.
Man, you hit that on the head. That was fabulous. And you know where that comes from is experience.
No question.
And as I always say, you cannot out-accelerate experience because experience is already there.
There's no replacement for two things, Mike. One is talent. There's no replacement for talent. So when people are hiring people, they try to go on the cheap, forget about it. You're going to make a mistake. You get the best person for that position. And you never hire your core talents out.
Right.
You always keep your core talents to yourself. That's what brings in the juice. That's what brings in the
You're
juice.
exactly right. Matter of fact, speaking of talent, I like to use a word called aptitude, which is very similar.
Absolutely.
So many times in business or life or sports, we'll see individuals that have aptitude or talent that only needs to be developed, right? So this is a good example, this result of a business that you invested in out of BA is a good example where many times people say, hey, why is that person in? Well, I've defined an aptitude and a synergy and a talent that I think is going to be big or go big or at least profitable, right? So many times as an entrepreneur, you're looking, whether it be for your strategic partners, your JVs, your employees, whoever you're bringing into your world, you're looking for that core raw talent and attitude. Attitude's everything. You can have attitude with no talent or vice versa, but if you've got both, you've got somebody who's coachable, moldable, or a deal that's shapeable that's going to work for you and the rest of the people involved. In your company, what do you think the golden sauce is for the culture in your company, right? You've obviously picked people that have talent and the right aptitude. But in your daily routine with your people, what keeps these people pumping for you and the business?
I think it's my charming personality.
And good looks. He's not shy.
No, the reality of it is I surround myself with people that do the things that I can't do,
Right.
or that I don't want to do.
Right.
Okay, I'm the guy that's the vision, the leader, the idea guy.
Right.
Then I need somebody to clean up the mess that I make.
The wake.
Yeah, we talked just a minute ago about having talent. That was the one thing. The other thing is experience. And so I've had the experience of screwing so much stuff up. And if I pulled off my shirt right now, you'd see scars, you see scabs, you probably see some fresh blood. I'm sure I screwed something up this morning. I just don't even know about it yet. But the thing of it is, that's the experience. You see, life isn't like this unless you're lying on the couch and for God's sakes, don't be watching CNN or even Fox. They're both way too far away these days. But life is like this. It's up and down, okay? And our experiences in business are up and down. But you don't learn anything when you're up here and things are really going well.
Right.
All the learning is down here when you screw up. And you go back into your head and you just redo it. You evolve, you morph into something else.
Exactly.
And you don't make the same mistakes. Hopefully you don't make them twice. But that's what life really is, though, Mike. It's nothing more than a series of challenges that have to be met.
All right. I want to dive into the business a little bit more because you've created some pretty substantial wealth. A lot of people out there have a show, they have a podcast, and they talk about a bunch of the same stuff, right? I want to know from your business, your model, And maybe it's simple. Sometimes it's black and white, it's the basics, and you just do it really well consistently. But you've created quite a bit of wealth through real estate, which we know is probably the godfather of creating wealth, the real estate industry. But what is your model? What does it look like? Try to summarize that. And then why are you so damn good at it?
What's his name? Gladwell.
Okay.
You have to have 10,000 hours in.
Right.
When I read the book, I realized no wonder I know what I know. I've got way more than 10,000 hours in.
Right.
And I've come from another city where I had my shirt handed to me, and everything I've ever done is built on my experiences. So early on, like we'll go back into the late 70s, I realized that real estate is this is where most people in the world make the most amount of money.
Totally.
It's not buying stocks, it's not buying gold and silver, it's not buying municipal bonds or bonds of any kind or certificates of deposit. It's real estate. And the reason for that is this: if this was a bar of gold, everybody would pay the same price within a couple of dollars for it. A bar of silver, the same thing. You go to the stock market, we're going to pay the same price. Primarily, we're going to pay the same price depending on what platform. But if this is real estate, you can negotiate any deal. It could be terms,
Right.
it could be cash, it could be cash in the future, but people don't understand the present value of money, okay? And so even today, I got a phone call from a lady of somebody that couldn't close the deal. And I could tell that the buyers were BSing her.
Got it.
I'm taking over her payments. I'm closing it in 3 days. It's in Ellington, Florida. I already sent her a contract. This took place in 20 minutes, and I'm closing it next week. I'll see the property on Saturday morning.
Here's what I heard you say. This is good. What I heard you say is, unlike gold, silver, whatever, stocks, bonds, there's very minimal negotiation and perception of what that is worth. But in real estate, it's all about what the buyer wants, right?
The seller.
The seller. The seller wants, right? So if you can find out, well, maybe it's college tuition, or maybe it's whatever the end goal is for them, and you can create terms that get the seller what they want, and you as the buyer, many times you have a deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not as black and white as many traditional venues.
No, and you asked me why or how I'm successful, or what's my secret sauce. Kid Rock has a line in one of his songs: "I can smell a pig from a mile away. I can smell a deal from a mile away."
That's so true.
We were in a house not too long ago, and I was with a couple of guys that I was training, and the house had just a terrible stench to it. These people, it was despicable. And so when we got outside, I said, "What did you smell?" And they started describing the smell. I said, No, that's the smell of money. Okay, that's the smell of money. These people need to get out, and we needed to get in.
Do you smell that?
I do smell it.
I smelled that same smell when I walked into the office this morning.
It's the smell of money.
You got
Every
it.
time the phone rings, it's a cash register. You don't know, is this the one? And I just happened to take that call this afternoon, and in 20 minutes, I had a deal.
Right.
And it's a big deal, too.
I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole just for a second. I like the question that I asked you earlier. I said, what do you think about the economy? I'm hearing from different sources, it's beginning to start to take a downturn. We're on the edge of the crash. And it all may be true, but your response, I want you to look at the camera and tell them exactly what you told me.
It's very simple. Business is good or bad in between your ears, okay? It's good or bad in between your ears. The economy could be going this way. It could be going that way. Well, which part are you going to be on? What side are you going to take? It's just a matter of positioning yourself. The key in business is always the same. It never changes. This guy has something. This guy wants it. You just try to slide in there and wet your beak a little bit, as the Godfather said. I just want to wet my beak on every deal. Just like this lady today, it's no different. She needed money right away. The movers were there. She needs to get out, and I need to get in. And there'll be a home buyer that wants to buy that house. So I just kind of slip my way through because we know how to do paperwork and we know how to act fast. And there's an old expression, don't take it wrong, but it's never steal in slow motion. And what that really translates to, if something's good, man, you don't wait because somebody else is going to be there. Things are left for those who wait, but only the things that are left by people that hustle. And I have lived that all my life. And sometimes I forget that I don't have to do that so much, and I try to back off just a little bit, but it's what excites me every day to get up.
What I've noticed about you, and If you're watching this show, you probably know I'm founder, CEO of boardofadvisors.com, which is the world's greatest mastermind organization. We have breached over the pond and have now begun attaining members from Europe, UK, Australia, Mexico, Brazil, Lebanon, and Canada. But what I've seen from you is amazing. He's a real estate, how many years?
40.
40. You don't even look 40. 40 years in real estate. But what that's made him is not a real estate guru. It's made him a deal maker. Stepping into BA, he's like, it's not a real estate context group. But then what he quickly found out was it was kind of like Karate Kid. He'd waxed on and waxed off so many deals that now he understands how to make a deal regardless of if it's gold, real estate, technology, things that's not really your expertise. It's about structuring the deal. And that's why I think you've become a pillar founder member body within our organization. I love having you here. I love you sharing your story. But have you seen yourself develop over the last 4 years from a deal-making standpoint, not just a real estate standpoint?
Yeah, business is business, whether it's real estate, it's all deal making. And I don't know if it's one of my skill sets, but I enjoy people, okay? And over the last couple of years, I realized the most important thing to me, and I was reading a book, I think it was called Barking Up the Wrong Tree, great book, highly recommend it. And the most important thing to me is being connected.
Right.
And so what's happened to me in Board of Advisors is I have made some absolutely terrific friends. I've got friends for like literally 60 years, believe it or not. My oldest friend I've known him since I was 4 years old, and we still do a tremendous amount of business to this day. But I have met people in Board of Advisors that just give me a sense of purpose because we bring our brains together. And really, when we bring our brains together, it's like another mastermind group out there called Collective Genius, because I said this before. I said, you guys in this room together with me, this is Collective Genius, myself aside, because these guys are all smarter than I am. I'm just fortunate that they allow me into the room. But it's really the truth, though.
True.
It's that sense of connectivity, and it's that sense of belonging.
Absolutely.
Because you could make all the money, you could be by yourself. It's lonely at the top if you don't have any friends to share it with. And that's why I love doing business with my friends, so that we have these great times together. Mm-hmm. Just like we all went to Alaska recently fishing.
And you organized that as well. And I was falling into the same trap on that trip as every other entrepreneur out there. It's good for me to taste a little bit of my own medicine. Claiming I'm too busy, I'm too deep, I got too much going on. But at the end of the day, it's about the human connection, because the humans are the ones doing business with the humans. The business just happens to be the medium, right? Yeah. And many times the business is sold, it expires, whatever it may be, and you're moving on to the next thing, and you're still doing business with the other human.
Yeah. The funny thing is so many people in your group, myself included, we get dopamine doing deals.
So true.
I mean, this is what excites us, so it doesn't feel like work. Now, sometimes it does. But my wife said something very odd to me about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was like one of those oh shit moments. And she said this, and because I've been saying for like about a year, I think I'm in like the last third of my life. For the most part, it's probably the last third. I have no intentions to go into 300 or 200 and 150. No intention. But she said to me, do you realize you're just 15 years away from being 80? I said, what the hell would you say that for?
Why would you say that?
It's like, well, you know what it does is it puts it in perspective. Do I want to just keep driving all the time? No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I do, but at the same time, I do as many fun things as I possibly can, and I squeeze it in there, which means I get to work the weekends, but then I'm taking time off.
Right.
And then I work my butt off, then I take time off.
What you did for the recent group that we just took, you organized the meeting, you inspired the meeting, kind of the Board of Advisors Highliner Lodge engagement, if you will. But it was truly something that brought the bond together, tighter, right? these guys now trust each other even more. Sometimes it's just about having a beer or sitting on a dock or hooking a big fish together. You know, we're every day trying to hook that big deal. And sometimes when you're side by side, one of your buddies that you've been doing business with, and you just hook a fish, it brings a whole nother color to the relationship. So you gave these guys a gift that is more than business. And really, that's why a lot of us, even the Rockstar Entrepreneur, right? You get in business so you can make money, so you can do business, and you go to these mastermind groups for business. But what ends up transpiring is it develops into community and real relationships, and that's the glue that sticks everybody together. But the real fact is the purpose and fulfillment that comes out of that community activity, like you're saying, that's kind of the irreplaceable, rewarding, fulfilling aspect of it when you get down to it. Would you agree?
It's a camaraderie. It comes down to one word, camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, often, first of all, Citron said it best in our group.
Right.
Only do business with people you want to take a vacation
Right.
with. You didn't see anybody there that you didn't want to hang out with.
Right.
And for some of us, it's like we didn't get enough time with this guy or that guy or this guy.
That's the feedback. It's like, I wish I had more time with this person.
Yeah. But the time that I had with the guys that I was with,
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Right.
We didn't get enough time together because you were gone. So we got on the boat one day together, and I think you did catch a bigger fish than that day. That day.
Here's what I would like to kind of shift the conversation to. An individual like yourself does not have the average. I've witnessed how you do deals, how you work with members, how you interact on your day-to-day. Like, we now have known each other for about 4 years, right? 3.5, 4 years. The mindset starts in the morning and it ends in the evening. Where you start in the morning many times depends on where you end up in the evening. What does that mindset look like for you? When you get up and you fire up the coffee, the tea, the whatever you do in the morning, where's your mind at? What does that look like?
You know, I try to be mindful, okay? It starts with being mindful. Where am I?
Bang.
What have I got to do today? But I know what I got to do today because I don't go to bed without a plan for the next day. Now, sometimes stuff slips in and it's like a priority. But I get this call, this lady needs to go bang, bang. I love going bang, bang on a deal.
Bang, bang.
But the thing is, it's all a mindset.
Right.
You really, like when I was in Alaska, I made doggone sure that I was going to be with who I was with, and
Present.
that was it.
Present.
Be present in the moment, not be thinking of what I'm going to say, not be thinking of what's going on without me. I didn't even look at emails or texts for 4 days.
Well, I know you paid the town to shut down all cell service and internet service. That's how he rolls. So you had a captive audience. We couldn't get on our device even if we wanted to. I asked the girl, I said, listen, what do you, like, I see you're carrying a cell phone, but I can't use mine. Can you use yours? She says, no. She goes, I use it for a calculator.
I have good news for you. Mike Theodore is solving their situation for Wi-Fi over there,
Oh my gosh.
as you
Yes.
would expect.
This guy's crazy. Brilliant.
Genius is the word you want to use.
So what about when, because in business, it doesn't always go right. So here's what I would love to know. When it's going wrong, not when it goes wrong, then it goes right, then it goes wrong, then it goes right. That's normal, the heartbeat of business. But when it goes wrong, and it goes wrong, and it goes wrong, and you start working harder and tougher and more diligent with less sleep, less eat, you're making every sacrifice and it's still going wrong, what's your mindset like then?
Well, first of all, you don't want to work harder, you want to work smarter. Okay? You can't not eat and you can't not sleep. Sleep is one of the things that will just stress you out even more. If you're not getting enough rest, I let my body go until it's ready to wake up in the morning. Some days it's different.
And you've always been that way.
Yes, I don't use an alarm unless I know I have a meeting. I'm afraid I'm going to miss a flight or something like that. Just concerned. But it's really a matter of working smarter. Because listen, the reality is, every one of us screws up. Things go wrong in business, and it's that mindset. I had a really good friend, and he was in some nefarious activity many, many, many years ago. It seems like a lifetime ago. And he used to say to me, every time I got caught with something, I used to think about all the things I got away with, okay? And so now you put that into a business sense, and it's like this. When things go wrong, you don't focus on what went wrong. You do focus on the solution, but you think about, where am I really? Did this really matter that much?
Right.
And if so, how much did it matter? Look at what I have, okay? Not what I just lost. Now, I have a tendency, I've done that. I mean, I have done it. We lost a deal at auction the other day. I was freaking so upset because I didn't have my proxy bid properly. I really thought we were going to steal this house, and it would have been a great deal even if I paid a couple $1,000s more, $10,000 more.
Right.
And I let that linger for about 5 minutes. I said, okay, I'm going to get pissed off and be aggravated for 5 minutes, but that's it. And then when it was over, that was it. We move on. And guess what happens? The next, the best deal comes around every 24 hours. You don't have to press. I don't have to press.
Right.
And so what happens? So this is the next day. Boom, I get this call from Ellington, Florida today, and I make a banger. It's a banger deal. Every 24 hours.
So the mindset is every day is a new day, and there's always another opportunity. And that's what I hear Citron saying as well many times. I hear you saying that. I hear Jimmy Ralph saying that. I hear Jason Medley saying that. There's always going to be, and Mike Theodore saying that. There's always going to be another deal. There's always going to be another opportunity.
And then if you do miss something, if something does go wrong, the real question you got to have in your head is this really going to impact my lifestyle? Okay? Am I going to miss a meal? Am I going to miss a vacation? Am I going to miss this or miss that? Can I buy those clothes, that car? And the truth of the matter is, some of the mishits, they're not going to impact anything, but you gain knowledge and wisdom.
We just get addicted to winning. So
we hate to lose.
Yeah, we get addicted to winning. So when it's not going our way, sometimes we throw a temper tantrum. But what about when it does count and it does create an issue for, is it going to change my lifestyle or my future?
Let's come back to that. You just mentioned the word temper tantrum. This is a benefit of BA. By having like-minded, kindred spirits, capitalists, if you will, okay? There's times when all of us get aggravated, every single one of us. And then it's that time where you're a friend and you're a listener, okay? And you help somebody, you walk them off the ledge. And you say some of the things that I just said.
Right.
Does this really matter? If so, how much? Okay? And I have to have somebody do that for me too, because I still get caught up in that mindset where, damn it, I missed that one. I can't believe I missed it.
You said that you always get rest. I think usually the mistakes, or I've witnessed that the mistakes come through exhaustion.
Absolutely.
So running under exhaustion is when you're going to make mistakes. You start sacrificing health, eating, nutrition, you start to lose focus, and you start to make mistakes. It kind of goes back to the basics.
Yeah, well, on that point, Mike, so many people sacrifice their health as they're trying to accumulate wealth, okay? Then at the end of the years, they're trying to buy back their health with the wealth that they create. It doesn't work like that. You've got to have, none of us are in balance all the time. In fact, balance doesn't even exist out there, but you have to be conscious, you have to be aware. You do have to eat right, okay? You can't eat crap all the time and expect to feel good. Not going to happen. You can't abuse your body with alcohol and drugs and not expect that there's going to be a consequence. So you have to have some semblance of some kind of balance and recognize that if you don't exercise, okay, if you don't keep your tone, you're going to be, we started out of the cradle, we're like this, we're like curled up in a fetal position. And as we get older, we stand up straight, the whole deal. But then as we get older again,
you start crunching back down.
You end up like this. Flexibility, strength training, this stuff is critical for guys like us because people lose sight of that. Just going after the money. And that's the one thing that I've always had a balance in, is trying to take care of my health.
It starts
of course, I ruin it too, but then I bring it back into balance. Hanging out with you guys could hurt sometimes.
So one thing I notice about guys like you, in contrast, I see wisdom, I see experience, I see very smart moves consistently, and maybe that comes with age. But then I also see, and I want to draw a big light on this one, because I also see a lot of younger guys that create some success. They go out, they buy a Lambo, or they something crazy, right? Which is cool. I mean, grab the fruits of your hard effort, right? But your moves tend to be less significant and less showy and you've always got a smile on your face because you know your dollar's working for you. Talk to me about kind of that lifestyle of, it just seems like a fair, firm, consistent, peaceful approach that I see a smile on your face more often than I see a smile on their face.
There is a problem with the younger generation. Okay, they want everything today. They don't want to make the sacrifices. People say, I've heard this, people say this to me, man, I wish I was you. I said, no, I'm not sure you would make the sacrifices that I made and gone through some of the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, because most people aren't willing to do what it takes to get the things that they really want. They just want to get there off the sweat in the back of somebody else. And it's so true. If you want anything, shit, this world doesn't owe you anything, man. Get out there and make something out of yourself. So my message to young people has been for years, you have to create your value in the world. Okay, if you don't create your value, why would anybody want to hire you? You have to create your value, and hopefully you don't have to be hired. You can,
right.
You can live life on your terms.
Right.
Which is always what it's been about for me. I want to do what I want, when I want, for how long I want, and not have to take orders from anybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One of the keys for me is I've always lived beneath my lifestyle. Oh, I could have had some of those things that you just mentioned. First of all, I don't want them. I don't want to be that showy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people see what you got, they want what you got. Okay.
Let me freeze you right there. When people see what you got, they want what you got. It's so true. As soon as somebody thinks you've got something that they don't, or you have the ability to shed extra funds, they're going to ask for it all day long. I mean, the guy showing up to do the landscaping, you know, you're in a $2 million house or a $10 million house or whatever, they're factoring in the fudge 100%. Yeah. So there is an efficiency and a simplicity and a benefit to the efficiency and simplicity of just not going over the top. And one thing I've learned is all of that creates work, management, oversight, cost, and risk.
So many guys want to have the show. They want to look the part, but they're not the part. They haven't really worked their way into the part. And the other thing is a lot of these young guys, and names are coming and flooding my head right now, you know, they make a bunch of money early on in their life and they think they're going to make this all the time. That isn't the way it works.
Right.
The key is, and I've learned this at an early age, is you make the money and then you have the money work for you so that you don't have to work. You're working out of choice, not out of need. And I know that a bunch of names probably just came into your head of guys that were very successful. No. And they crashed and burned because they weren't intelligent enough to say, these are the chips I got. These chips are coming off the table. Okay, and I'm investing them over here, and I'm going to have residual income. That's what real estate does for you.
And those individual dollars are now employees working for me.
Every one of them. You know, one of the old maxims I used to live by is never buy anything that eats while you sleep. I don't have horses. Okay? You know, and I've also heard, you know, many things that I've lived by is, you know, you never buy your vacation home, you rent your vacation home. Why? Because you can go to different places. What if things change?
Of course, Airbnb.
You know, there's just some certain maxims that I've lived by, and they've been very telling for me. Another one is, and I've learned this the hard way. Yes, I'm still learning things, and I still make mistakes in business. But the one that's been the hardest for me is thinking that other people were smarter than me in my own business, thinking that they could run it, and it's just not the case. I would never get involved with other people in business now in my business unless they had skin in the game. And skin
they have to have something to lose because then they protect.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And if not, it's your money and it's just then
they're not losing anything. They're not protecting anything.
They're just investing a little bit of time, but they're taking the hard-earned dollars that you made, thinking that they might know something that you don't. And I've had this happen to me, and I don't blame anybody except myself.
So you're in a very unique position, right? You've put yourself in a financial freedom position. You're enjoying the connections you're making, the relationships that you've built, right? You're on your third book, but going forward, right? A guy like you and many of us, regardless of what age we're at, we're not looking behind us. And many times we're not necessarily satisfied with what we've done. We're more interested in what we're going to do. So talk to me about what does it look like for you moving forward? What are you going to do? What is that? And I know your wife told you only have 15 years.
15 till I'm 80. Till I'm 80.
So what does that look like going forward? And how could somebody watching this show say, hey, I like this guy, RJ Palano. I dig what he's saying. I can relate. And maybe how do they get involved?
Well, first you need to know I only speak from my experiences.
True.
Okay, my experiences have shaped everything that's happened to me in my life. In fact, I will go on to say that every step that I've ever taken in my life has brought me right here today, and I believe it's for a reason. I'm not sure what the hell it is, but I'm here, and I'm delighted about that. One of the things that I've done, Mike, is I've got friends, I'm 64, and I got friends that are older than me, and I got friends that are much younger than me.
True.
And I like hanging out with my younger friends. As much as I like hanging out with the older guys, but I look at the older guys and I see how their lives are and the habits that they've got. And I look at them and say, okay, I can see this guy slipping in this way.
Right.
And I think I can put a finger on that. I don't want to be like that. So I look at people that are older than me and the habits that they got and the guys with the sharpest minds, because that's
Right.
what I want.
Right.
I want to be productive to the end. I want to be using my brain to the end. Now, I'm not trying to dumb it down. This world
You want
is
to be
rotating.
alive till the end.
Man, I'm here to live life. Okay, I'm here to live life. And so I have to have a sense of purpose. I have to have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. So the fun for me is developing other people in my business that are on my team that I can help and show them to fish, not to hand them a fish. That doesn't
Right.
work. But I'm showing them how to fish, and that probably gives me the most enjoyment.
Developing people.
Exactly.
That gives you the most enjoyment going forward.
I still like making deals, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather see them be able to make the deals.
I was going to say, but training them to make deals. Going forward, not only are you a deal maker, but you are a maker of deal makers. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I think it goes like this, Mike. When I was younger, your age, actually younger than you, I would look at all these guys that were about my age right now, and I would see what they were living and how they were doing. I would
Right.
think, my God, how nice it must be to be like that. Now I'm one of those guys that I don't have to work because I've created the residual income and stuff.
Right.
And it is very comforting to know that. It's very comforting to know that. But now it's a matter of paying it forward.
Right.
Helping somebody else out. Because the legacy is we don't want to just live our lives for ourselves. The people that do that are very selfish.
Right.
And it's
Agreed.
very lonely. It's very lonely.
It's not fulfilling.
The joy is in the giving. It's not in the getting.
Hey, just like we say at Board of Advisors, we do three things really well. We give, give, give. That's how we end up creating the relationships, creating the bond, and developing into real results, right?
Absolutely.
That spirit of contribution. So as we kind of begin to focus this conversation, someone on the call today wants to do real estate. Let's just imagine there's a couple individuals that are out there listening to a real rock star real estate investor who's done it many different ways. You've got the individual that's going to do it for their first time. You've got the individual that has been doing it for a while. What would you tell both of them?
That's a great question. And I would say this. In my early days, I had more time than money. So we're talking about that single mom, okay? Now I have more money than time. And it makes a giant difference. I did everything myself.
Well said.
Yeah, I went to the county courthouse. I was looking up mortgage foreclosures. I was looking up everything. I was buying mortgages as well back in the early to mid 80s. I did all that work. Then as it developed, I started a title company. I had all these other people doing it for me.
Right.
So to the early person, the person that doesn't have a lot of money but has time, I would say you have to do it for yourself, and you have to associate yourself with people that got money. Now, if anybody brings me a good deal, I'll let them participate, and
Sure.
I'll put up the funds, or I'll find the funds. I'll do it because I'm a solutions person. I've never missed a deal that I wanted to make in real estate. If the deal's good enough, I'll always find a way to get it funded. Now, and a lot of it depends on somebody's motivation, because the one thing that you can't teach, it's really hard to teach motivation. You either have it or you don't. It's internal. It's internal.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Well,
You're a rock star.
Well, I speak from the heart, and what I say, I couldn't make it up. I've lived all this stuff.
So if you're young and you're motivated, because if you're not motivated, go get a job.
Forget it.
Right? You don't even need to be
And you're going to
watching
do
the show.
lousy in the job anyhow.
Yeah. Refer the show to somebody else, right? But if you're motivated and you've got time, what I'm hearing you say is step up and do the work. Because you can spend the time on doing the work until you make the money, and then it begins to flop the other way?
Well, first, Mike, you got to get the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, you don't know what work to do.
So you need a mentor.
Yeah, you need a mentor, and you need to be able to identify what your skill set is and what you want to learn, because the most money in the world is made in
Well said.
negotiations. Negotiations is the highest paid profession that there is. That's really all it is.
Sales and negotiations.
Yes. Well,
Sales is
sales
negotiation.
is exactly, Mike. And that's the area that I really concentrated
Right.
on. And it's developing human relation skills, because we're dealing with people. You
Right.
have to solve their needs.
There's a person involved in every deal.
Always. Always. Now, the guy that's got it going on a little bit, you just got to find out what kind of fire he's really got in his belly.
True.
Okay? And then you got to decide, you got to talk in terms of goals. What are you trying to accomplish? It always starts there. Because, Jimmy Napier, one of my greatest teachers and mentors of all time, said, he used to make this statement: you're not a tree, you can move. Because sometimes in some areas, it's very difficult to do business. But if you get out of that area, it can be very easy.
Right.
And so people, and that's not easy. Leaving family, leaving friends, and going somewhere else like I did about 17 years ago, that wasn't easy. That was very challenging. But it was like the best move that I've ever made, and it's part of my journey. And everybody's on a journey that I or Mike or nobody else can take for you. You've got to walk your own journey, and that's what life is all
One
about.
foot in front of the other. Every day, one brick at a time.
And sometimes you only get enough light to see the next step.
Yeah.
Take that step, though.
Sidestep, what I noticed when I was doing a lot of real estate, if you can imagine, you know how when you are trying to do business with somebody, sometimes you take them to dinner. I think you have 2 board of advisor business dinners tonight, right, with people you're doing business with.
I got 3 nights in a row here.
Right, 3 nights in a row, okay? So you ever notice once they've eaten and had a drink and they're relaxed and they're full, you just get all the truth. You get all the real, the raw, you're comfortable with each other, right? What I noticed in negotiations was in real estate, when I was doing real estate, I would always get them talking about all the, complaining about whatever it was that was going wrong. So I knew, first off, they need to relieve that pressure, that blow-off valve. They just need somebody to listen. Because many times the wife's not listening, the friend's not listening, nobody's really hearing them. They just need to be heard, but then you have all of the ammo, not that you use it against them, but the ammo to create the right deal. And now they're decompressed and they're now listening to you. It was really very basic approach for me. I would let them blow off steam, decompress, give me all the ammo, and then I would assemble the deal. Would you say that's a pretty good approach?
I would say I would qualify it a little bit. You get them emotionally involved.
Okay.
And if a lady's saying that, my tenants have destroyed the place,
Right.
I would then continue to bring it out. Well, tell me what they did.
Right.
And how did that make you feel? And oh my gosh, they did that? What did
Exactly.
what did that feel like? What did that cost you?
Blossom.
What about your time and the energy and effort? So
Yeah.
you bring out the emotions to
Yeah.
help them come to the solution, that you are the solution, to help
Right.
them get rid of that bad tenant, never have to deal with that pain again. You've got to bring out the pain, if there is pain. And so in real estate, we buy, we could buy any house that there is out there, but we want to buy houses that there's an opportunity.
Right.
So
Right. And the cool part about real estate as well is there's an opportunity, black and white, day one, because the opportunity is made on the buy. You're creating
always,
that spread on the buy.
you're making money when you buy.
But then you can even increase the spread by controlling what you do with it thereafter on a renovation, or whether it's speed on a wholesale deal or whatever. It's cool because you got to have a lot of different tools in the tool bag to shape the deal before, during, and after. Question. I know we're probably going a little long here, but
It's okay.
dude, I love you. You're great. Off the set, on the set, in BA, out of BA, you're just a fantastic, a quality human being. The old timers, the Reggie Baxters out there, the guys doing, 18, 42, $22 million deals like they're flipping coins, right? They're always, like you, they want to be active. They want to live life. They're looking for deals. What can you tell somebody like that may be listening, that they appreciate the fine tuning, right? That little micro edge that it's like, oh, even if it's a mindset shift or something, because they have so much experience, they have tremendous value in the micro shift or the fine tune. What would you say to them?
It's so funny that you even said that. I spoke with Reggie Baxter on the way here, and what he has just put together since May is like off the chart. So what would I say to him? This is exactly what I said to him. I said, Reg, I got to tell you what my wife said to me about a month ago. I'm like 15 years away from 80.
Yeah.
I said, I just went fishing in Alaska. I'm going to the Bahamas next week with Todd Breen. Right after BA, I fly out on Friday to the Canary Islands to go on my buddy's sailboat. I'm squirreling as much fun into my life as I possibly can, because right now we're still go. Pretty soon it's slow go, then it's no go. So you got to live life.
That's good.
And I said, and then when I come back from the Canary Islands, I think the Rolling Stones are playing on the 31st in Miami. It's the last set that they got.
Oh, wow.
He goes, I want to go to that. I said, then let's go. It's you and me, baby. We're going to see the Stones. I said, we're going to spend about $2,000 a ticket to be up front. Just be ready for that.
I don't even think that makes a difference for you.
No, it doesn't
guys.
make a difference.
No.
It's about the experience.
Of course.
It's about energy. Freaking Jagger's got so much energy. That's why I go. I've seen him a dozen times, over half a dozen times.
So to see
It's the
you,
energy. I feed off that energy.
I know you do, and he does, and I do. You know what I
Are
feel?
you coming with us, yes or no?
Done. Yes. The answer is yes. You may have to talk me back into it again, like the Alaskan trip, but I was there. The thing that I love to see, truly, is when you interact with a guy like Reggie. I mean, think about it. That relationship is gold. To bring you together with guys like Mike Theodore, Mike Citron, I mean, Jimmy Ralph, all these individuals, Wayne Godwin. I mean, you feel comfortable enough to literally be on the side of a cliff in Alaska sharing a room and a shower so we can all go fishing together, right? To bring you guys together and to watch you do business and to watch you be social and to watch you laugh, that's a good feeling.
Well, let me sum it up for you, Mike. My life is better and richer and more blessed because these guys are in it, and I got to thank you for that,
brother,
because you brought us together.
Absolutely. Brings us back to the definition of a rock star. If you're not taking a risk to make someone else's life better, you're not an entrepreneur. You're not. If you're selling something to make your life better, you're just a salesman. There's a real graduation in saying, I've got something of value. I've taken the time to create something that brings value, and I want to deliver it. That's an entrepreneur. A real entrepreneur will take an opportunity and create a solution, create a benefit.
Absolutely.
And if it's really good, it'll bring people together. That'll create a ripple effect that's incalculable of results. And that, my friend, is BA. I can't even begin to track and calculate what is transpiring. It was this wheel on day one that I was winding and I was trying to track, and we had everything in the portal. And then I said, get rid of it. I can't even, it just comes back to me every day. Today, yesterday, it's unbelievable. Like last night, I'm on the phone with a member, actually even the night before, till 9:15, 9:30, and we're getting deals done, we're putting stuff together. It's just like the ripple effect is incalculable. I only wanted to create results. I didn't want to create a shitstorm of incalculable results, but I'll tell you this. If you're in a mode of thinking, what do I do? If you're just starting out, what do I do? What should I do? What's my calling? Don't worry about your calling. Do something, because something will lead to something else. And guys like you look for aptitude. They look for track record. Think about it. That's why BA is great. Our organization is great because of the gray hair in the room and the aptitude and talent in the room and the convergence of both. So if you're not doing something, you're not developing your talent, you're not growing and refining that aptitude, and the opportunity and synergies with others they're not gonna see it happening. Guys like you aren't gonna invest. It's not just about money, it's about time. How many people in BA has asked you to look at something for them for you to give them their experience?
Quite a few. But there's one component that really brings it all together, and that's integrity. Because without integrity, you're going to fail. If you don't have integrity, you are going to fail. And the smart guys in that room, that's the first thing that they look for, okay? And there's just no replacement for it. If you don't have it, if somebody lies about a little bit, they'll lie about a lot. In baseball, there's 3 strikes, not in business. In my business now, because I've gone so far down the road, it's 1 strike.
If they do it once, they'll do it again.
Absolutely.
And I didn't even open up with what board of advisors really even is. This is Mic Drop. This is where we are covering guys like you, ladies and gentlemen who are real rockstar entrepreneurs that have integrity. If you don't have integrity, you're not on this show. You want to meet a guy like RJ Palano? You want to meet a real rock star with real experience, real integrity? This is your guy. MicDrop.com. Do you have anything else that you would like to add to the conversation, my friend?
I think we covered it all.
You did well. I'm really glad that you took the time to be here today.
My pleasure. You bet, Mike.
Thank you.